take it away. Thank you all for tuning on in and for bearing with us throughout all the shenanigans that's been going on. I'll try and keep this short. I just want to give a big shout out to all the tech staff who have been more than patient to try and get everything sorted out. I know things have been a mess or just pretty crazy, so big kudos to them for trying to get everything all sorted out. They've done such a fantastic job. And otherwise, I'm Sonikkustar. This is Metal Slug X. We're running, we're gunning, we're slugging with all the metal that's flying around. And I don't really have much else to say. I got AT Tree here on commentary. I managed to rope him in all this craziness.
Thank you. I mean, hello everyone. Good to see you again.
All right.
Yeah, Metal Slug, long venerated arcade series, number of home ports on Neo Geo. So if you didn't have a Neo Geo in your home in the early 90s, because you didn't have several $1,000s of disposable income, you might not have seen the series until more recently when they started re-releasing on Steam and other platforms. But it's just an awful lot of fun. This is, as I recall, the arcade original version from the Neo Geo MVS arcade cabinet. So you're gonna see what it looked like back in the 90s. Whenever you're ready.
All right, let's not waste any more time here. Let's put in some credits here. Is there a preference for which person we should peruse?
You already know.
All right.
We are of course going to play as Theo.
All right, I guess we'll get started here. So, 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, so as I have previously iterated, this is Metal Slug X. This is actually a remake of the second Metal Slug that came out, I believe, the year prior. So the story behind that is that there was a programming error that caused the game to have a lot of slowdown. And because of that, the game was a lot less favorably received than before. So they decided to essentially just remake the whole thing, have them give the dev an opportunity to add a bunch of new crazy weapons here, new locales, new enemies. And so at the end, we got a Metal Slug X. So pretty fun. So there isn't really much.
Yeah, and I know what you're thinking from what you can see here on screen. Yes, this is the version with less lag. Games were built different for a period of time there. You know, there are people who were like the real old heads who are playing like 80s games. You talk about games in terms of hertz instead of like refresh rate or frames per second. And a lot of games then did run at 60. These were games, especially on this Neo Geo arcade hardware, that really pushed it to its limit. You can see the number of different sprites here with fully like richly animated cycles here, but this stuff on screen at once was pushing the hardware pretty hard, as you can tell.
Right. As we just destroyed this first boss, I'll just mention that the actual fidelity in the animation is incredible, especially for the time. However, the main drawback is that you still tend to have a lot of lag. So one thing I had to be careful there was that you might see me do like a self-destruct move with that Metal Slug. Sometimes that move won't register because I would be doing input on a lag frame. So it's just something you gotta be a bit mindful of. But yeah, first stage was pretty straightforward. Now we get introduced to a bunch of these mummies here, as well as the mummy dogs. Pretty straightforward stuff. A lot of other runners tend to use the shotgun. I like the flamethrower. I feel like it just has a little bit easier reach to work with. So, pretty simple. And now we go into part 2 here inside the actual mining tube. You're going to actually see a lot more platforming here, a lot of vertical movement, just trying to make sure I properly jump and avoid a lot of these enemies here, you really want to make sure you don't get mummified. So a lot of these mummies will spew like a purple gas, or
Yeah,
in the case of those green mummies, these flies that will mummify you. And if that happens, not only do you lose your weapon that you have, but you'll move a lot slower as a
you have
result.
an entirely different moveset as a mummy. And is zombie in the game, or am I thinking of like 3?
That is 3, my friend.
Got it. Yeah. No, I actually just checked my Steam achievements. 3 is the only one that I've 1 credit cleared. So part of me is kind of enjoying this because I know a little bit of it from you watching you play this during previous times we've talked. But yeah, a decent amount of this is new to me. So I'm sitting in enjoying as much as I know about the Metal Slug series generally.
Well,
yeah, like that's kind of the way they injected their fun into this series. It's like there are what are essentially power downs, or at least like side grades. They're much lower for speed running, but you know, mummifying does change the way you move and what all you have access to. Does it give you any sort of attacks like the zombification in 3 does?
no, it just makes you move a lot slower.
I see.
So yeah, that was the second boss. A little bit of a tidbit there. So you might have seen me grab a heavy machine gun while making my way up to that boss. What that does is it actually makes you invincible. Oh my god. Can you just... Thank you. All right. Yeah, so what that does is it actually makes you invincible when ducking. So you'll be able to do what I did and just crouch and spam grenades to just completely destroy that boss. Really nice strat.
And
But
again, may I remind you, this is the version of the game with less bugs, glitches, etc. You know, you didn't have the ability to patch things back then, for better or worse. The re-release, the updated version was all you got.
it is definitely the speedrunner's preferred version, that's for sure.
Something else, you know, you mentioned the heavy machine gun, the weapon callouts, like just the audio-visual experience of this game is one of my absolute favorite things about it. I have a number of redemptions in my chat and other things that I'm about online where it's just the weapon callouts from Metal Slug. So,
Nice.
you know, I will take any opportunity to do a good rocket launcher. So, thank you for inviting me on to do that. And with that, I will go home. Good night, everyone.
Oh man, this section can be pretty brutal with the snipers and whatnot. But you just gotta be a little bit careful when platforming there. I almost got there. That would not have been fun. All right. We got 3 waves of planes. Boom. There we go. You might have seen me you saw me grab this golden slug instead of the plane. Little fun fact, I believe the golden slug here actually does more damage with its cannon shots than the plane does with missiles. So
that makes sense. Gold is better, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're just kind of making sure we keep our distance, shooting our can shots as needed. And there you go. That's the 3rd boss right there and done. So
nice and clean. Yeah, we were just talking before this run started. This game, when it is played to an extremely high level, looks simple because you're just executing on a plan, kind of like a beat 'em up. But after a fashion, Metal Slug games are kind of like shmups, like classic plane flying shmups. Because if you move 1 or 2 pixels out of position compared to what you want to do, things can go bad very, very quickly.
Yeah, and you're gonna see that a lot in this stage, actually, with all the bombs that are thrown here, all the projectiles. It's a lot to really try and manage, you know. Just to go a bit off topic here, one of the things that I always find interesting is when you play a game and when you speedrun it, it can sometimes be like two completely different things, or two.
Absolutely.
So like in this case, Metal Slug, simple run and gun. When you're speedrunning it, it can almost feel more like a precision platformer in a sense.
Also,
you
I
have
enjoyed that prisoner of war trying to do his Hadouken. That's a nice touch.
I forget the name of the guy, but big shout outs to Hadouken guy.
That'd be Ryu, except I think what he was technically doing was the Gadoken, Dan Hibiki's version of it, also from Street Fighter. It might have actually been a dig Capcom, because Capcom and who's Metal Slug? SNK. Capcom and SNK were rivals. SNK with Garou, Mark of the Wolves, and the whole Fatal Fury franchise. So that probably actually was a dig at Capcom. And thanks for sticking with me as I logicked that out. I definitely had the commentary ready in advance. Anyways, boss time.
All right, this boss I don't fully understand. I believe you have to have it positioned in the correct spot on the screen before it brings out a cannon, but I'm not terribly sure. Either way, Flame Shot take care of that real easy. And now we get to probably the scariest mission in the run. Oh, nice, I got laser. So there are a lot of enemies here, a lot of stuff that I gotta go through. So a lot of this is just trying to make sure I am aware of crowd control. So while I am concentrating Tea Tree, unless you got anything you want to bring to the table, I believe this might actually be a decent time for donations.
Yeah, happy. If there's anything to talk about, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much.
Now we get to probably... I know I said this stage is the scary part. This part is really the scary part here. So much happens. There's so much to talk about. One thing I will bring up is that your grenade, your bombs, actually, the smoke that your bombs do actually does damage as well. So you're going to actually see me take advantage of that in this next screen here.
Hey, if we have another moment, we had a little technical issue, so Happy Bear, if you want to do another blurb, if there's a good time for it soon, that would be wonderful.
Absolutely, I am more than happy to do that whenever you have a moment. We had a little technical bobble. Is now a good time, or should we wait a couple more minutes?
And now's a good time.
Okay, perfect. Well, again, I just want to thank the staff, especially the tech team, who have been working so hard to make this marathon a success. And we're also grateful to the music providers, Chill Hop Music and Overclocked Remix, who have so many good songs. I have listened to both for years. They are both amazing. You can go to ocremix.org if you'd like to hear some Overclocked remixes. And if you'd like to listen to Chill Hop, you can do !Chill Hop in the chat. So thank you everyone for working hard, and thank you to our music writers for spicing up our marathon so well.
Yeah, you to absolutely everybody involved. It's always fun to be able to give shout outs to the teams and the people who usually don't get, marathons are often powered by the likes of OC Remix, but like, if that's something you're interested in, stop by OC Remix sometime, take a look at just the breadth of work that people do over there, the number of different artists that are involved in making some of your favorite remix albums and playlists is really immense, and they deserve support as much as anybody else. So what exactly are we looking at right now, Sonikkustar?
I'm not really sure. I think
Okay,
the lore states it's supposed to be like test subjects from an underground facility or something like that.
Oh dear.
The Metal Slug lore is very complex. I will just get...
Yeah, that is genuinely true. I don't think they're doing a bit. Like, the characters have individual arcs in between games. There's enough stuff going on in the background. There are shadowy evil forces, and none of that shows up in the game. In the game, you're just going from mission to mission doing your thing. Whereas, like, if you look up, like, the Wikia, and especially if you look at some of the later entries, like the DS stuff, where they actually did move a little bit more of that in-game, you get to, like, meet your COs and your mission assists and stuff like that.
I was unfortunately pinned there.
Oh no. At least we still have rocket launcher.
Well, now we got heavy machine gun.
Okay, that'll also do.
Yeah, this
I was
this
second
boss,
behind.
this boss is very tough if you're trying to go for the fast strat, because the flamethrower is by far the most powerful weapon, but you only have
to be
small
right on top
section.
of the shot.
Yeah, you have a very small hitbox to really work with. So, all right, final mission. Let's do this thing. So, this is not a good position. Okay, I'm just gonna take things a little bit easy here.
And again, much like in shmups, the slowdown does let you help pick your pacing, choose the position you need to be in, so on and so forth.
Okay.
The RC car gun.
I love the Iron Lizard here. Just the face on it. It's so funny to me.
Yeah, no, it's the fun, the humor in this game all comes from little details. They, like we mentioned earlier, they would kind of expand on it in future games with the zombie form that literally changes your entire moveset around. You start farting up rainbow goo when you're zombified.
Alright. Alan is not playing... Oh, wow. Okay. I was not expecting to get that kill, but... Alan can be very finicky, for sure. He moves around very fast.
Chat, say thank you to the whales. We appreciate that nature is healing by taking care of Alan for us.
Alright. And moving on, I want to make sure I don't die from here to the final boss, because the grenades will come in very handy. The next few waves of enemies is going to involve lots of screen manipulation to try and circumvent having to fight some enemies here.
Got it.
Because this is the part where you actually find out that the aliens are behind this whole plot this whole time.
Always have been. Are grenades, or bombs as they're called, your highest DPS option, inclusive of all guns?
So your bombs, I believe, do 100 damage. Shotgun, I believe, does the most at 400. Your flame shot is right up there. It does damage per frame. That jump I just did skipped a wave of ray aliens that you have to fight.
Nice.
So you're gonna see. I'm gonna try attempt another skip as well.
Wait, they were putting down mines. Is that a Worms reference?
I would be very surprised.
Yeah, no, probably not. But if you do want to see Worms, we have a run of that tomorrow morning. U.S. time. So if you tune in at the beginning of tomorrow, though, there will be more mines all over the place. But thankfully, Sonikkustar did not have any trouble with those.
Yeah, they are not fun to deal with.
No, I don't doubt it.
All right. Sometimes a guy will whack you to death if you're not careful. I'm going to do a jump there to hopefully skip another wave. Yep, there we go. I just skipped a few more gray aliens that would pop up here by doing that jump. And now it's just a matter of killing these aliens as they come on screen. So now would actually be a perfect time for donations if you have any.
We can definitely do that. Well, we are so excited to be repping for Gate today and raising some funds for this wonderful organization that works towards justice, equality for transgender, diverse, and intersex communities. But we have some different incentives for everyone to donate towards. So I mentioned earlier that we've got that World Party Remastered blindfolded missions goal, and we are now just $203 away from that. That is going to be the first run tomorrow, so we have to hit that tonight, or else it's not going to happen tomorrow. I believe that we can do it. We just need to buck up and drive, right? We can't.
You're welcome to go back and watch the VOD. I had a good time. I hope everyone else did. But have you ever seen a strategy game run blindfolded? I think you have. So, you know, if you are able to donate, feel free to get those donations in. Make sure they are put towards that target. It would help everybody out. I'm sorry, Happy Bear, I cut you off.
No, you're totally fine. I mean, you are instinctive host, right? Just immediately wanting to talk so much about that awesome incentive and hype up so much. So thank you for that hype too, and I am hyped too. So definitely get those donations in. This is one you are not going to want to miss, chat.
And let's keep the hype up to the end as we come closer to the end of this run. How's it going over there, Sonikkustar?
Well, I am in the midst of fighting the final boss. And as you can see, we managed to bring the flamethrower all the way here, which does
perfection.
Absolute absurd amounts of damage. Oh, laser. Yes. That's going to be real nice for the second phase here. So,
yeah, it's always great when RNG smiles on you.
Yeah.
Knowing that's not a guaranteed drop by any means, nor were many of the rest of them throughout this run.
Absolutely. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to save my bombs here, especially for this second phase. Yeah. So, time should be coming up soon. Just a heads up. Uh-oh. Ah, that's unfortunate. I got pinned, unfortunately.
Yeah, those patterns, you know, you see them come at you from, like, triangular angles and just know they've got you locked in.
All right.
Thankfully, we had a few lives to give.
All right, the metal slug is now here, which means we are at the halfway point. So it shouldn't be too much longer. Thank you for the laser. And time.
GG's.
Congratulations. Good job.
All right. Thank you. Wow. Let me just say that this game will certainly take a lot out of you if you try and go fast.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
for sure.
It is as high action as the game I ran earlier, but my run was like 8 minutes, and yours was 22. So I have nothing but respect for what you just did here, and I was glad to be part of it. Any shoutouts?
Well, of course, I want to do shout outs to all of the Metal Slug runners prior, especially folks like Mike Uyama. Fun little tidbit. It was his runs of Metal Slug back in 2005 or so that made me want to join the speedrun community. So I'm super stoked to be playing the game that got me into this whole hobby, to begin with. So I
Heck
also want to give
yeah,
a big
that's very cool.
also I want to give a shout out to Tsukimo. He's also a very big, very awesome Metal Slug runner, as well as all the other Metal Slug runners. These games do not get nearly enough attention. But if you're willing to stick through it, they can be some of the most exhilarating games to speedrun for sure. And I actually want to give a big shout out to and pardon me. I actually want to give a shout out to Amber Cyprian. This is a person, they have done so much for the community. They are the founder of Fast Paced Events. They've done so much. They are such an awesome person, and they do not get nearly enough respect for all their work. So big shout outs to them. And last but not least, thank you to everybody on the Fast Pace Events staff and tech team for giving me the opportunity to do this. I'm glad that I have an opportunity to help raise money for such good cause. There are so many friends of mine who are in the LGBT community, a lot of trans runners, such awesome people, and I wish them nothing but the absolute best, because they are such awesome folks. So please donate, please spread the word, and thank you for all the work that all of you have done so far. And yeah, that's about it. Again, my name's Sonikkustar. You can find me here on Twitch if you so choose. I don't really stream a whole lot nowadays, but I do try. So
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you so much for everything, Sonic Star.
Thank you, Sonikkustar. That was a wonderful run, and thank you too for being a great commentator. Well, everyone, sadly, that was my last run of the marathon. I have to relinquish the hosting mic, but I am leaving you in the very capable hands of Prozac, and am very happy that I got to spend this time with you this afternoon/evening. If you'd like to come hang out with me, my Twitch is twitch.tv/happybearlives, and we do fun stuff over there. We do a little speedrunning, we do a little variety stuff. So definitely come hang out if you would like to, but it's been so fun to spend some time with you today. We have a run by Allison 8-Bit, Have a Nice Death, coming up. So that's not ominous at all, right? But first we are going to go on a quick break. Don't go away, everyone. We will be right back.